It's a real pleasure to introduce the next person because this is a fellow who really puts the right stuff into serving for his constituency over in the city of Pullman. One of our favorite people on the city council, Nathan Weller, attended Washington State University, earning a Bachelor of Science in Psychology and a Master's in Bioregional Planning and Community Design from the University of Idaho. He has served as a Pullman City Councilman since 2008 and continues to serve the city along with several local and regional boards focused on urban agriculture, economic development, poverty, entrepreneurship, science, technology, transportation, and education. Nathan.
Okay. First, I'd like to ask everyone, can you take a deep breath in, fill your belly, and a long, slow breath out. Thank you for that, and thank you for the invitation to speak today. My name is Nathan Weller. I'm a Pullman City Council member, and today I'm going to be vulnerable with all of you. I will touch on some topics that might trigger some people, and I want to warn everyone. I won't share any statistics or anyone else's stories, but I will share my own in the hope that it will help destigmatize mental illness and encourage awareness and compassion. As long as I can remember, I have wrestled with anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts. But you grow through what you go through. I grew up in a good home with loving parents. My mom was a special education teacher here at Moscow Junior High School, and my dad a world-famous agricultural research scientist. Needless to say, my mom felt it was important for my brother and I to express our emotions and communicate. Growing up in a small rural area during the 80s, few other people felt this way, and I was bullied for being soft, fat, and emotional, along with being shy to a fault. Instead of yelling, I would cry. Instead of fighting, I would walk away, which sounds great unless you were me. I was in a lot of activities and eventually learned to act the part of the well-adjusted teenage boy. However, inside, I was struggling. Like many teenagers, I felt an overwhelming need to fit in and be liked, yet I had an inner critic that would tell me I was never good enough. I was constantly, internally, exploding in anxiety like an inflatable spiky ball of judgment in my body. And at the same time, depression made me feel like I was being crushed by a boulder of despair. During middle school and high school, I went to a few therapists and tried medicine, but nothing really helped. To be honest, I don't think I gave it a chance, but I just felt numb. At 16, my mom noticed I wasn't eating much and would sneak out in the middle of the night to run, leaving no energy for school or sports anymore. She did what she could, but I was struggling with anorexia, dropping down to 145 pounds at 6 feet tall, and to this day, I still battle body dysmorphia. When I graduated, I didn't know what to do and certainly didn't think I would be alive. But I wanted to learn a little bit more about why I felt this way, so I earned a bachelor's in psychology. I remember one day, after a particularly tough time, standing in my apartment alone, holding a kitchen knife to my throat. I thought, I'm tired of disappointing myself and others. I'm exhausted feeling this way. Many people say suicide is selfish, but not to me. I was exhausted and felt it would be a blessing to my family, friends, and community. They would be better off without this screw up around. Needless to say, I was at the absolute end of my life, but instead of making that final act, I called two friends who said, I'm here for you. Now, one happened to be a weed dealer. I'm not saying that helped me in the long run, but instead of committing suicide, we got high and I sang, I will survive. But surviving isn't thriving. Instead of being self-aware, I decided to self-medicate and bury my issues under gallons of alcohol and pounds of marijuana. During high school, I never drank or took drugs, but by the time 21 came around, all brakes were off, no holding back. Unlike proper medication and treatment, these substances increased my anxiety and depression to a point where I was horrible to be around and was making bad decisions, winding up in the back of police cars and at rehab. I had decided to show everyone around me how bad of a person I could be and undermine my relationships and future. After all, I didn't want them to miss me. There were times that I tried to ask for help, but you have to be careful when you're vulnerable. One day a roommate told me, "I don't understand depression. You're just a drunk loser and will be the rest of your life. Nobody wants you around." Fortunately for me, my dad was always there, even though he never quite knew how to help. I remember one night he asked, "You have so much potential. Why do you keep shooting yourself in the foot?" And he cried, just a little bit. But it hit me harder than any judge, officer, or friend. I was hurting people who truly and deeply believed in me and had always been there for me, even though I didn't want to accept it. It still took a while for me to stop digging my own grave and running from myself, but awareness and sitting with my feelings was a good first step. The gratitude I experience now didn't come easy and hasn't been a straight line. Getting clean and sober definitely helped my mental health, but I don't expect that my anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts will ever go away. They are just more manageable, and I've learned better skills to handle them. I try to see them now as passing clouds. Sometimes they hit me with hail or rain, making me feel hated or hurt. But if I'm patient and don't add to them with more negative thinking, it slowly passes. I'm not a licensed psychologist, but I will share with you some of what has worked with me. I have always found that exercise and lifting weights lifts my mood. And with meditation, it is even more powerful. Having a growth mindset has helped me immensely as well. Mindfulness, self-awareness, positive affirmations, questioning my own thoughts, creating an internal safe space, and finding a therapist that I connect with has guided me through inner work and made me aware of blind spots in my life. I feel that those of us who struggle with mental illness are some of the strongest, most resilient people, because we not only deal with the stress of external life, we also have our internal demons. For too long, the subject has been taboo and stigmatized, resulting in feeling alone, judged, and unable to speak up or talk back to the people who tell us, "Smile, buck up, shrug it off, you're being too emotional, snap out of it, you're crazy." This has led to many people refusing help and others choosing suicide over the pain of rejection. It is way past time to create a culture of openness and acceptance to provide treatment and support not only in our homes, but communities and the world. It means recognition that mental illness can be as debilitating as any physical illness, and that mental health is integral to overall well-being and health. It is not separate. We need access and investment in our communities to mental health services, which includes counseling, therapy, and support groups, along with education. Fortunately, in our region, we have some programs such as QPR and mental health first aid training, which several Pullman departments have been certified in. I will continue to advocate for these not only in our city departments, but for everyone in the community and region. Another important asset, which has been mentioned, is the 988 hotline for people facing crisis or suicide. Remember to dial 988. Last but not least, we need to destigmatize mental illness and mental health. A step in the right direction is the proclamation Mayor Johnson made Tuesday declaring May as Mental Health Month in Pullman. Now, I'm not comfortable being up here, and it's scary. I will wonder if I've said the right things in the right way or if anyone cares. But if I can help just one person out there, it's worth it. Now, I'm going to end with a quote that helps me during my darkest days. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning's done. From Rocky Balboa, of course. I'd like to tell you to take care, be self-aware, and thank you for your understanding, compassion, and kindness. Keep moving forward.
Thank you very much, Nathan. Like I say, he's one of the good guys. We need more folks like that in office. And we share a lot, except maybe the weightlifting.